Well, guys, I'm tired of being quarantined. It's time for an extraction. We're talking about Rainbow Six Extraction. We've seen it kind of jumble around with a bunch of different names, and they've landed or extracted with Extraction. So this is a 3-player co-op experience. You can go in solo. The idea, though, is to find out what's going on, which has been a disease, and alien races come in and swept over the nation, and I'm having a blast. Scott, I'm going to kick it over to you first. First impressions?
Had a little bit of difficulty with this one. I didn't think it was going to be that quite difficult, but
Sure.
when you get into some of these locations, it's kind of tight quarters or very open spaces. It's rarely a mix of the two, so you find yourself in this giant warehouse, and that's when hundreds of them spawn, seemingly hundreds of them. But
Yeah.
it is a bit of a departure from Siege, what we're used to. And I would
Absolutely.
say it's a lot slower, a lot more methodical, and, well, you want those teammates covering your back, because once that stealth drops, it's all on then.
Absolutely. Steve, what about you? What's your first impressions?
First impressions, as we just all mentioned, when we went about 2.5 years ago to Ubisoft in Montreal,
Yeah.
when it was quarantined, and I was really excited for this. And then not long ago, when we played the beta and we had all the gamer tag all over the screen because I didn't want you to record it, I was disappointed. I thought, this game isn't for me. And then we played it, and it's like, this game is for me. And I know you guys are Rainbow Six. You play it so many hours and everything.
Oh, man.
And
Yeah.
you know I have an issue with anxiety and trigger happy. So playing this, and like Scott said, because it does pick up speed, but
Sure.
the whole stealth and the slow speed for me suits me to a T to actually get used to the characters as well and their abilities.
I'm definitely impressed. I got to be honest, right? Like, I was kind of going, man, this is such a departure from Rainbow Six Siege. Is a spin-off really going to work? And they had an event that was like this. I think they did call it Quarantine or something to that manner back in the day for Siege. It was like a Halloween event that just kind of came out, had a good time. I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. And then from there, it disappeared. Well, it turned it into an actual game, and a good game too. Yeah, Scott, you're right there though. Dude, this is tough. This is a tough game. You essentially have 3 waves of the quarantine to get through when you start your mission, depending on whatever level it is. Each mission is a little bit different. Sometimes you're rescuing people, sometimes you're just there to get some hives, sometimes you're there to lead one of the chimera away, or what do they call them, Scott? Like Archeans or something?
Archaeans, yeah.
Archaeans, right. And then you get in the depths of it too, the ability to upgrade your gear, customize your characters. There's so much to this game that I really just kind of almost wrote off as it's just like a side project. This side project is a fantastic full experience. I'm loving this thing.
I think of the sound direction specifically. That's something I just kind of pay attention to more often
Sure.
than not. And you hit it with those voiceovers because they are
man.
very well acted and everything. When you get into some of these locations, it sounds disgusting. And when you get sprayed with some of the kind of pollen or whatever's going on, your character is coughing, wheezing, but it's believable. It seems like they recorded somebody on the other side of the exhaust.
They nailed
they
the
did.
audio. And I have to say, like, when we played it, I didn't realise, like you said about the spawns, that they attach to your body. And if you don't near them, they explode. It's like, Joe, you got some green balls on your back here. He goes, get him off, get him off. And it's like, there's a lot going on in this, and it's definitely got my interest. And there's so many levels or different areas to go through. And I like the idea that you can actually go in and rescue to unlock new teammates.
That's
been
the thing.
captured.
My favorite thing is if you fail, if you fall in the map and that's it, well, you get encased in this weird kind of safety net, and now you're left behind. Unfortunately, you didn't make it out. So it's up to you in further missions to return to that zone and try and free your captive teammate. And I think that leads to a really intense moment, because you're not only do you have to physically pull them off of a big gross tree-like thing.
Yeah.
But you, as I keep saying, get to the chopper. And when you get there and you put your guy in there, there's a big relief. And that's a really satisfying gameplay loop. Oh, it gets rough, and as soon as you lose that kind of composure, it all crumbles. If you're not a tight unit, then it gets out of hand very quickly.
It can definitely fall apart fast, right? I think that's the biggest thing. Even on the easiest difficulty, the game is tough. You go in with your health at 100 if your character is not either inactive or inoperable at all, depending if you lost them to the tree.
But one thing I will touch on as well is, like you said about the 3 chapters or the 3 progression levels, is they're not the same every time you do a new game. I love the way they alternated, so it doesn't feel like, I've just done this one and I've got to do it again just to rescue my character again or unlock another character. So I like the way they actually mixed that one up. And also the airlocks. At the end of each kind of section, you cannot progress unless all your teammates are in that air locker. Which I think is good.
Well, that way you're not stranded left behind, right? If you're in there with some randoms, because there is the opportunity to go out there and just find random people to play with and go out and do your mission. But yeah, you're not going to be left behind. Well, guys, I think it's fair to say Rainbow Six Extraction has really surprised us, and in a great way. Scott, what do you score in this one?
Well, I really appreciate the difficulty and how it slides into chaos. And there's enough of an unlockable tree, if you do happen to make it out, that you feel like you're being rewarded, at least getting stronger, unlocking new characters. There's always something to do, and that's a big deal. Production-wise, it looks great, and it sounds even better. So I'm very impressed with this one. I have to give this an 8 out of 10.
Nice. How about you, Steve?
Almost like what Scott said, I think it's very polished. It's a lot better than what I thought, and my kind of pace as well, even when it does get a bit hectic. So I'm giving this an 8.5.
I think I'm there with you, Steve. I think this game is great. I was really surprised how well this really kind of came out of nowhere for me, right? I had low expectations somewhat going in, and it really blew me away. There's a bit of an addiction trying to get through all these missions and survive. And that's the thing, is can you survive the waves of each little horde you go through? And it's just, it's really cool. Like, everybody needs to try this, and it is on Game Pass as well. So there's a bonus for everybody on Xbox. But for me, I gotta wrap it up. It's an 8.5 as well.
Rainbow Six Extraction is an excellent departure from Siege and the main series. It is a great balance of teamwork and challenge.